John, it is so nice to see you again here at the summit where we are talking about bolstering the U.S. defense industrial base. So let's just start broadly. How can export financing for commercial dual-use domestic defense manufacturers help when it comes towards meeting that supply that our allies are looking at? And how are you thinking about replenishing stockpiles, even if it's indirectly?
So one of the best things about revitalizing XM has been figuring out ways where our financial tools can help bring about not just supply chain security, energy security domestically for everyday Americans, but how we can be great partners with our allies all around the world. So what really came down to it is President Franklin Roosevelt started XM in 1934. And the reasons he founded the bank then rhyme with all the challenges that we're trying to meet today. So number one, how do we help American companies win all around the globe? And I can tell you right now, we've never had more demand to partner with U.S. technology, to get U.S. industry involved in every single bit of growth projects all around the planet. Number two, energy security. How can we help bring American energy molecules and technologies to every corner of the globe? Number three, supply chain security. Things like Project Vault, supply chain resiliency, Make More in America. These are things that are become so foundational to economic and national security. And last but not least, you may not think about a 92-year-old sleepy institution like XM as being focused on winning in the industries in the future, but when it comes to global AI exports, dual-use technologies, which we're talking a lot about here today, advanced mobility, these are areas where we're trying to help ensure that we can not just innovate in America, but that we can iterate, manufacture, and deliver.
Part of what's adding to the urgency is, of course, the conflict in Iran. And yesterday, we saw President Trump move off of a threat for a 20% reimbursement fee and instead says that regional allies are going to invest in the U.S. when it comes to trade and financing deals. I'm curious, can you give us any context here? Are these new investments or building on commitments that we've already gotten?
Look, what the president's doing in Iran is long overdue. What I can tell you about XM's role is that we're focused on delivering energy dominance, which involves not just energy security all across America, because I'll tell you what, if you are a state in America, like Pennsylvania, like Texas, like Louisiana, that enjoys a lot of energy exports, you also have low cost of electricity for all of your residents. But it's also about bringing about energy technology that we have to every corner of the globe. And so it's more than energy security, though, when you think about what it takes to respond to a global environment like the one we're in today. It's also about fostering next generation innovation like we have here today. It's about supply chain security, because no matter what you're trying to build and deliver, having the foundational building blocks in terms of critical raw materials is absolutely essential. And that's why what Dave and Dina McCormick have done here, convene capital providers, innovators, some of the largest companies, but also those who really are bringing and infusing innovation into the equation. That's what's most important, and that's where XM has found new life in our revitalization.
Well, how has the conflict in Iran perhaps mobilized capital to regional partners who may be thinking a little bit differently now about a reliance on the Strait of Hormuz or their own defense capabilities and holes within them?
It's funny, what we've seen is a continuation of what we experienced even before the conflict broke out, which was people coming to us at XM and saying, we want to partner with American energy technology. We want to procure American energy molecules, understanding that that's the best way to build a long-term strategic relationship. We want nuclear technology to be front and center. We want to partner with American SMRs or American large-scale reactors. And what it comes down to is that buying American is a good bet for building your future. And so what we want to do is allow everyday working-class Americans to have more well-paying jobs, to have the opportunity to continue to flourish, all the while we deliver American goods, services, and technologies to every corner of the globe.
And part of this is the evolving nature of technology and AI. It's my understanding that you've just launched an initiative that would essentially help to fast-track these tech exports. Can you talk to me about what the demand has been like?
Absolutely. So, thanks to the president's leadership, he issued a global AI export plan, which the Export-Import Bank, we were very proud to be a part of. Now, I will say that we were the first federal agency named in the executive order that's delivered, right? So we've revamped an entirely new export program specifically tailored to the AI tech stack. And we've learned our lesson from 5G, from the telecom space only a few years ago, to understand that we needed to pivot and innovate right before we had this onslaught of demand. Because what I can tell you is every country that comes and meet with us, every company from around the world one of the first things they ask is, how can we partner with American AI? Right? They're not just asking the president, they're asking us too. And so we want to be a frontline economic tool that allows the American technology stack to win and to be brought to every corner of the globe. Because it's not just AI. AI is going to be a foundational part of every single industry, and we want to make sure American companies win.
I understand the demand, but we're also seeing in some ways growing concern from European allies about being too reliant on U.S. tech, perhaps highlighted by the fact that the U.S. Commerce Department imposed and then lifted those export controls related to Anthropic's most advanced technology. I was just speaking with the Palantir CTO about how the French government moved to cut ties with that company in a bid to bolster their own technology. I'm wondering how you're thinking about financing technology that could be restricted overnight.
Well, what I can tell you is that we are inundated with demand for American technology partnerships, but also if you think about what it takes to deliver on the promise of AI, it's a brick and mortar process, right? It requires molecules, it requires processing, it requires infrastructure, and so all of those things are traditionally things that XM has focused on. And so from our perspective, we want American companies to win. We want us to be able to deliver a promise, because delivering an AI future is one that you and I want to be comfortable with, is going to ensure that these industries thrive for many more years to come.
In the final few minutes I have you, just quickly first on Project Volt, which you did mention at the top. Can you give us an update on how that is going when it comes to building up that critical minerals stockpile? Any sort of update that the market could be looking for?
Yeah, it's great. So Project Vault, for your viewers at home, was actually an initiative that President Trump announced in early February, where the Export-Import Bank partnered with the private sector to be able to bring about a strategic reserve for critical raw materials. And so we're very pleased to say that it's being operationalized. Project Vault has executive leadership in place. Brett Lampert, someone who's a career veteran, dedicated his entire career to supply chain security and resiliency, and so we're making great strides there.
And then final question, can you just talk to me about how you're thinking about institutional independence? Because there have been some questions raised, including by Senator Elizabeth Warren, about one financing deal that has alleged ties to the Trump family. How do you maintain institutional independence?
Process is key at XM. Every single applicant that comes through the door has the exact same process, and what we can tell you is that we're wide open for business, but the bottom line is that the foundational elements of every deal have to pass muster, and we're very, very comfortable with what we do all day, every day.